Logos-Rhema Foundation for Leadership Resource Development has organized a training for leaders for this year. The program was organized by the courtesy of College of Transformation and Sustainable Development, COSTRAD, dubbed as COSTRAD Leadership Training 2023. The program was patronized by mostly pastors and reverend ministers across the African continent. The founding president and international director for Logos-Rhema Foundation Development, Dr. Abu Bako, in an interview with Nation One TV said, the program is designed to build mental infrastructure which is needed for mental development, he said.
Anything you do must be sustainable, otherwise there is no continuity. And development being something that is necessary for progress and growth, which is why you talk about human development, even in terms of just the human being. You develop from a fetus to an infant to a toddler to an adolescent to a young adult and then to an adult and so on and so forth until you become a parent, grandparent, etc. In the same vein, you actually are talking about a college that helps nations to develop. And we teach how you can sustain development. What are some of the specific things that need to be done? You begin with ensuring the family is solid enough, because anyone you see in the society, whether a journalist, a president, a soldier, came from a family. If the family is solid, then the background of such a person will be solid. That's the bedrock of the society. Then from there we go to the aspect of mindset transformation, because most people, is their minds that actually have created the world in which they live. And if you don't have a growth mindset, or an adaptive thinking pattern, where you're strategic in your thinking, very diagnostic and critical, you will end up just taking anything hook, line, and sinker. And after some point, people will just be toying with you left, right, and center. So we ensure that that is addressed, because if you address all the other kinds of infrastructure, but you don't address mental infrastructure, you will end up with those without proper mental infrastructure destroying any infrastructure you put in place. So we try to ensure that is addressed, and then we look at governance, because everything rises and falls with leadership. And if you have proper leadership, just check everywhere. Even Brazil, just recently, as soon as the Silva came in Lula, in 6 months, the deforestation has gone down by 34%. 6 months, where everything was just being burnt down. But don't let me go into too many details. Apart from the governance and public policy that we try to ensure we talk about and try to help people to deal with, we also look at the aspect of the economy. How do you manage the resources of a nation to ensure that as you have the best of resources, everybody is being profited by it, because the most important resource is a human resource. And unfortunately, many nations and continents that have the greatest human resource don't seem to have taken advantage of that. The only nation that most people rather castigate is China. They have harnessed their human resource, and they have overtaken America, and the BRICS countries now have overtaken the G7 because they harness their human resource. Then apart from that, we now go to the aspect of education, training, and development. Now, you're not educated until we can bring the best that God deposited in you out of you for the betterment of humanity and your environment. There are too many people who are uneducated, literate people, including uneducated professors, because they are literate, they can read and write, they are numerate, they can crunch numbers, but the best in them has not even been discovered, not to talk about developing and helping them to have a demonstrable expression of that in projects and then deploying it into the society. That's very important. And then we also then have to look at the aspect of the science and technology. And we normally deal with futuristic, science and technology. What are we talking about? People knowing how things work so that then they are not at sea. And then knowing how to do things and how to make things to better their lives, better their families, better their communities, better their cities, better their nations and continents. For example, here we are with, Africa having 65 to 70% of the uncultivated arable land. And quite a number of Africans go to bed, without having eaten one meal. And if you can't feed yourself, nobody really respects you that much. And we should be able not only to feed ourselves, but feed the world. Because if you have, even take the lowest possible 60% of land that is supposed to be most productive, but is uncultivated, then, you shouldn't be talking about Ukraine. You should be talking about, Africa. And even Nigeria alone, if you're talking of freshwater bodies, they have more than, in Ukraine. But that's another story for another day. If it came to the aspect of, what do you do in terms of technology, there is so much that we could do to change a lot of things. Right here, we have been privileged to come up with solutions to various challenges. For example, prostate problems, we have a solution for. It's something that has to do with power. We're currently trying to upscale it. And we have a solution that even UK is currently looking for. But let me move on from there to the other aspect of media of communication. Media of communication is supposed to be used for societal conscientization. And I know people know about agenda setting, framing, programming, etc., etc. I can't be preaching to the preacher, but unfortunately, most people don't know the reason why every government is interested in controlling the media of communication is that is what determines, the general national psyche and all of that. So we try to train people in the media of communication to ensure that they are representing God and ensuring is the best that they are pushing for everybody to now begin to look for how they can contribute. Instead of looking for their share of the national cake, but we're looking at how they can bake the national cake. Because sons bake cakes, children look for their own portion of the cake. And there are too many fathers and mothers, in quotes, who are supposed to be leading nations that are actually crying like children. They are looking for what they can eat, what they can drink, what they can wear. It is not supposed to be like that. I've never seen a father or a mother who stole from their own home or their children. So if you have anybody who is stealing from their country as a leader, that person is not a father, that person is not a mother. At best, that person is still a child. Now, if we came to the other aspect of the arts, sports, and cultural development, we look at how best we can help people to understand what it is. Music therapy, for example, is something that has not been harnessed fully, especially on this continent. We teach that. And to show that by God's mercy and grace, we have something to offer. We have people coming from all over the world. Last year, for example, we had 8 people from Belgium alone, and we're talking Caucasians, and we had 2 people from Brazil. We have people from Switzerland. As we speak, there are people from Switzerland, 1 or 2 from even Saudi Arabia this time as we are speaking, and other nations of the world, including the Bahamas. So it's different. You're talking of the Americas, apart from Australia and New Zealand. all the other continents are, represented. So it's because as God helps us, we want to draw the best.
Pastor Hannah Mijoya from Malawi, who partook in the program, disclosed that the training has satisfied her quest to get such knowledge and could not hide her joy in participating.
I chose to come and attend this course here in Ghana because this course is unique. In fact, I've never encountered such a course. Within me, there's always been a quest to know how, as a Christian, I can contribute to national development, national progress. And a lot of times there would be, the comments people would make would be like, politics is a dirty game, you can't get involved in government, you get swallowed up. Those are the negative sentiments I've always heard. But within me, there's always been that quest to say that I believe it's also an area where God has called people to serve in. I'm a servant of God. I'm a tool in God's hand, and God should be able to deploy me anywhere. But how to do it, I didn't know. What to do, I didn't know. So from the times that I attended the institute, I realized that if I come for the costrad, then I'll be able to get much more. So that's what pulled me and inspired me to come and attend costrad 2023.
Reverend Maurice M. Udon, an international missionary from Liberia who is currently working in Cote d'Ivoire, opined that the training is tailored to prepare them for development in the various countries in Africa.
This is a preparation moment for us to go. The theme of this session of COSTRA 2023 is deployment. We came to be prepared to be deployed. And that's why we came to get prepared, because our nations need our help. And the various nations around us, even in the sub-region, need our help. And beginning from the ecclesia, the body of believers that will represent God in the area of governance, economics, and all the 8 spheres of life, or the 8 gates of society. Receiving here, I don't know if there's anywhere else that we can receive that. I don't know anywhere else that we can receive that. We are taking there that the nations can be changed. Our system can be changed. Not only the issue of governance or politics, but the issue of the economy, the family, beginning with the family, beginning with the belief systems, beginning with the mindset of the people, in terms of our educational system, in terms of the arts, sports, and culture, in terms of the media, like you are in the media. All these different spheres of life or gates of society can be changed. But it takes knowledge. Like we say, knowledge is power. And if knowledge is power, if you don't have knowledge, then you are powerless. And the church has not been powerful, because what we see is not really power, it's really the expression of emotions and sentiments in most places. But we're talking about bringing transformation that is completely different from what the mindset of the body of ecclesia has been. That's why we are here. No distance, no cost is more important than what we are receiving. It's worth more than $1 trillion.
Thank you for watching Nation One TV. Kindly subscribe for more news updates.